In 2021, about 134.83 billion gallons of fuel were burned by cars alone. That's on average 369 million gallons of fuel per day. This is why, as a newly elected congressman, the first issue that we need to prioritize is how the recent transition from non-renewable energy to clean energy is negatively affecting the population.
The change of non-renewable to renewable energy sources is negatively impacting America because according to Brookings.edu, wind and solar generation require at least 10 times as much land per power produced compared to fossil fuel power plants. This land could be used better as farmland or free range instead of taking up space and producing less energy.
As people take steps to quickly move energy away from non-renewable energy, many don't realize the effect that clean energy is actually having on the environment. This is what Nick Aker, a lineman from Energy, has to say.
I think you are moving away from a much more reliable source of energy. For example, wind and solar are not producing power if the wind is not blowing or the sun is not shining. Many people don't realize what installing solar panels or wind turbines do to the landscape and the environment. It takes many more acres of land to build a solar or wind field than it does to build a power plant that can produce more energy on a much smaller footprint. Also, a power plant has the ability to produce energy 24/7.
The change of non-renewable to renewable energy sources is negatively impacting America because, according to Brookings.edu, wind and solar generation require at least 10 times as much land per power produced compared to fossil fuel power plants. This land could be used better as farmland or free range instead of taking up space or producing less energy. As Nick said in the interview, clean energy such as wind and solar power take up much more land while producing less energy. This is a very counterintuitive solution, especially in a country that requires an extreme amount of energy. With gas prices and the cost of shipping rising exponentially, the effects of the energy crisis are more present than ever. With help from the director of the Radiologic Science Program, Christy G. Moore, we were able to capture the effects of energy in a hospital. She had this to say.
Radiologists wouldn't have any idea what's going on inside the body. We always say we're the eyes of the patients, and so without energy, we wouldn't be able to x-ray. Without x-rays of patients, the physicians would have no clue what's going on with the patients, and so there would really be no way for them to get a complete diagnosis of the patient.
Although in most cases, clean energy produces less pollution and can sometimes produce as much power as fossil fuel power sources. We spoke to Dam Safety Supervisor for Seattle Utilities, Taryn Sass, to get her opinion.
What do you think about the recent attempts to move away from non-renewable energy sources?
Mostly, I believe in diversification that makes for a more robust and flexible energy system. The more and different ways we have to get people energy at a large scale, at a small scale, the more reliable and consistent. And I know it's not always a very popular solution, but we have to continue to offer government incentives for research and local and smaller installations. The only way to get that resiliency that can benefit the most people is to continue to provide incentives for innovation. There's still some serious limitations for our existing infrastructure and our existing facilities. I mean, energy storage is the big one that would change everything if someone could come up with a good solution.
As Ms. Sass said in the interview, she agrees that clean energy is a better option for energy as it allows for more energy to be spread to more places. However, as Nick Aker said previously, clean energy is only a viable choice after destroying a large area of land. And still, most clean energy only works in a very certain conditions. Therefore, even though clean energy can sometimes be a good choice, in most cases it is only a worse alternative.
To conclude, the energy crisis is a very serious threat that is impacting millions of people that someone from Congress should bring to light. This issue has various ways to be resolved if only the right people would look into it.